But my first question is, I was wondering we spoke about how you got to this story, and it's amazing. You guys need to know because you're a documentary filmer, and then you went over and did this film. But how did you get to this story about a young man who just wants to be an actor, and then suddenly gets involved in this stereotypical terrorism and all of that? How did that come about?
Well, I think that when you guys were watching the best audience so far, I think we got the funny part. So how I got this story, I used to do documentaries for quite some time, almost 20 years. So every time I go to a country to do a story, when the camera is off, people start telling the real story. You know, I'm like, why don't you, speak the same way you're doing now after I've turned the camera? And a lot of times when I'm doing the story in Holland or maybe in the UK, they always have an angle, so you can't tell any story. So what I used to do was get the audio, extract the audio out of the video and put it somewhere, and then later on just write every story that I come across. So particularly this story, I finished a documentary in Finland. So it was about Somali piracy, and it's called The Last Hijack. So a group of Jack guys, documentary filmmakers, came to Nairobi, so they were doing a documentary about Somali piracy. So they've been filming for like 3 months. So the last week they've called me saying like, Ahmed, can you come and just to be here, because I've been doing quite a lot of piracy stories, so I had kind of an expert.
That was the expertise.
Yeah. So I was sitting, and then the interview is going, and then I'm listening to this kid, and he's saying he grew up in Puntland, and he used to be a shoe shiner, and then he came across some other pirates, and blah 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 blah. But I'm listening because there is an accent in every region in Somalia. In Puntland, they have a strong accent. This kid, he never left Kenya. I think he grew up in Garissa, and he wasn't a pirate. And I think he has never seen a pirate before. And then when they've stopped the camera, I went to him and I said, in Somalia, why are you lying to these guys? And he said in Somalia, please, meaning like, don't fuck up for me. And immediately I called the guys, I said, guys, I think you have a fake pirate here. This guy is not from Somalia, and I think, you've missed something. And they couldn't believe it because they've spent almost 3 weeks to film this guy. And then there was a fight, and then suddenly the kids started speaking English because they had a translator for 3 months. They were paying this translator just to translate while he speaks fluent English. And when I told this guy is completely fake, and then after a couple of days, we found out they paid for his wedding, and the lady was his sister, and her son to be actually his son. So he told them like actually fake story, and everything basically he did was fake. So I ran with that story to Channel 4 News, and then we made a documentary called The Somali Fake Pirate. So we found that the fixer has done multiple stories. One of it was on New York Times front page. And then there was another documentary in Denmark. So this documentary was aired, I think, 30 countries. And the main character has never left Nairobi. He's a security guard in Italy.
So this is actually based on,
No, every scene in the film is based on a real story. And I saw you guys laughing when the kid is in the car and translating the fake story, like, I need to go and get my job and all that. It was real. So the fixer goes on the street, and then he'll hold an audition, basically, and get the kids from the street and tells them, okay, you speak and I'll translate. So the journalist will come, and then at the end of the day, they will have a perfect story because he's casting actors, and they are not actually interviewing real pirates. And there was also another story on CNN